Well, it's been non-stop broadcast covering the Kenya election, which started August 9. And for Kenyans and Africans watching, it looks like the numbers are not as some would have expected. Yesterday, I had a conversation with David Murithi, and of course, we also were with David Matsanga. But at the moment, if you look at the figures, they are not what some analysts have actually predicted. There you have it. These are the figures coming out of Kenya at the moment. The Deputy President, William Ruto, is ahead, followed by veteran politician Raila Odinga, and of course the other two gentlemen there. But the thing here is that we'll be looking at all of that conversation, why these numbers are so, what's happening to Mount Kenya, and the big analysis of experts. So David Matsanga and Murithi will be my guests. Welcome to Village Square. I'm Sulaiman. Well, Deputy President William Ruto, who's 55, is leading at the moment in the Kenya presidential election. Ruto, who's been at loggerheads with his boss, and the outgoing Kenyan president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is vying against 77-year-old self-acclaimed people's president and the former opposition in Kenyan politics, Raila Odinga. Odinga, the son of Kenya's first vice president, Odinga, has so far won more than 46% of the votes cast. The election didn't see as massive a voter turnout as seen in 2017, as just more than 13 million Kenyans came out to vote. The eventual winner of the election must have amassed 50% plus one of the votes, and must also win 25% of the votes in at least 24 counties. More than this election, the story leading into this poll makes it interesting. Ethnic politics at its best, political choices becoming strong determinants, and the history from the past says a lot in this election. Ruto, Odinga, and Kenyatta can be said to be Kenya's massive political triangle at the moment, and one is winning against two interesting times. Joining me now is David Matsanga, Africa Affairs Analyst, and someone who's been following this election and also covered elections on the continent. Good to see you, David. And of course, Eric Ngano, I beg your pardon, Kennedy Murithi will be joining us. And well, thank you very much. And let's start off by looking at the figures. I'd like to start with the journalists. What's exactly going on in Kenya?
Thank you very much for that good question. And you have indicated that William Samoei Ruto is leading. That is a subject to confirmation. What you do know right now is that there are different figures that are coming out from two of the top television stations that we have here in Kenya, where one of the television stations says that Raila Odinga is leading, while the other one is saying that William Ruto is leading. So at this particular point, I can tell you that most of these are relying on the Forms 34A that have been uploaded by the specific returning officers from the polling stations that are here in Kenya, numbering about 46,000. What the explanation that has been given by the different media houses that are giving these different results, causing on Kenyans to ask many questions, is that there is no specific criteria that has been set aside for picking these Forms 34A. That's the discrepancy that is being shown right now. However, they are both in agreement that if they do follow the Forms 34A, all of them at the end of the day, when they crack all of them, there's a possibility that they will arrive at the number that is being shown right now. Both sides are also claiming victory to this election. At around 10:30 o'clock Kenyan time, the Azimio One Kenya coalition had called for a press conference at the Kenya International Conference Center. And in this, that is where they have set their media center. They wanted to give an update on what they do know so far about the election, but that press conference did not take off. Immediately, they did call that press conference. Their competitors in the United Democratic Alliance that is fronting Deputy President William Ruto for the presidency, also called another press conference with the thinking that both of them are going to be announcing the results so far. When I'm telling you that both sides are claiming victory, that has been the situation until this evening, when they are saying that we do know that we have won this election, but none of them is bold enough to call a press conference and say that we have taken this. I have been at the Kenya International Conference Center the whole day, where they are even setting up for celebration, insisting that they have won this election. The United Democratic Alliance has not said much, but what we do know as of now is that the United Democratic Alliance, and by extension, the member coalition where it is from, where it is called Kenya Kwanza, loosely translated into English to mean Kenya First, is already claiming victory to a serious majority in the National Assembly as we speak this evening. So there's a probability that in this election, the presidential vote may be different. I am not saying it is going to be, may be different from what William Samoei Ruto will be getting. There's a probability as we speak that Raila Odinga may get the presidency vote and William Samoei Ruto remains with the majority of the parliamentarians in Kenya. Or William Ruto gets the presidential vote and also has a majority in parliament as it stands right now. So anything else that says that William Samoei Ruto is leading may be misleading to the rest of Africa as the vote tallying is going on.
All right, okay. We'll come back to you, Kennedy Murithi. Kennedy, excuse me. Kennedy, thanks for your time. And let's bring in Dr. David Matsanga. Good to see you again, Dr. David Matsanga. Tell us, what do you know at the moment? Because it's a tight race, isn't it?
First of all, Sulaiman, I want to correct one notion. Let's not mislead the world and not the public. There is no William Ruto leading anywhere, and there is no Raila Odinga leading anywhere. Full stop. These are tallied. The question that you pick, whoever started tallying and has gone enough numbers is the one who is ahead, but not that William Ruto is leading. Some of the televisions in Kenya are misleading the public, and a media council of Kenya has just issued a statement condemning such misleading information, and they are talking to the media owners to remove some of this that can cause a very big problem, and it can cause a fight and a chaos. Those results are not actual. If you want to get the results, Suleiman, go to the portal, go to the IEBC portal yourselves. You're a big organization, and you can download this. By tomorrow evening, you will have your numbers with you. You can see the figures, how many.
I understand what you're saying, Dr. Matsanga, but again, why is it that all of a sudden people, even yourself, you're now discarding the figures which we also relied on? Yesterday, we were looking at the figures, you and I, we were looking at the figures going up and down. It was okay yesterday, but now suddenly we're saying, well, let's discard the figures.
No, yesterday we didn't rely on the figure. They hadn't started coming in. We relied on percentage of voters, voter turnout. We were told yesterday that voter turnout was 12.2%. We didn't discuss who has won more, who has underseen the TV. The TV
we still have that visual. We had that conversation. We were looking at the figures, and we're talking about how it was going up and down for both candidates. But again, what do you think? What do you think of why is it that all of a sudden that people should go to the IEBC website, but the IEBC website is not what you would want to call real time, as we've seen with other websites? Must everyone wait till IEBC tells you that everything has been uploaded? just to enlighten the people, Dr. Matsanga?
I think, Sulaiman, I was one of the few people who did not want journalists and the media houses to start publishing the group, results or tallying results. Parties could do their tallying, that's okay, from their agents. But I am also a media owner in this country, Kenya. I employ 40 journalists, and I told them not to tally anything because it is not worth it. And you tally the results. Where do you take them? You only create confusion among the public and create people, cause apprehension, which could lead to chaos and violence. So these results that we are telling as the media is not helping us at all. It doesn't help you in the court at all. The court is not going to take them seriously. Even if you come and say, I am News Central, I have so and so as one, and this is my tally, the court won't listen to you. So I was one of the few people, Suleiman, maybe you didn't know, I never wanted anything to do with tallying of elections because I know how contentious the issue of elections and the figures in Kenya. They vote very well, like they voted very well yesterday, very peacefully. But when it comes to counting and tallying their figures, that's where the trouble of Kenya starts.
Well, anyway, I think, well, that said, and of course, which is very important, that the peace is maintained in Kenya at this moment and even beyond when the results are released. Let's quickly go to journalist Kennedy Murithi. Kennedy, talking about numbers, talking about the figures, and of course, which you highlighted earlier on, both camps are almost not talking about followers of both two leading politicians almost claiming, lead in this election. What does this mean to the ordinary Kenyan who's perhaps not opportune to have the depth of analysis which you've given to us earlier on?
Well, it's a very tricky situation considering that the Kenyans and most of them actually rely on their politicians to get the information. Right now, what we do know is that one of the sides is telling their supporters to watch a certain television station, while the other lot is telling their supporters to watch the other television station. And this is because in the different cases, their leaders are leading in this particular tabulation that is going on at this particular time. So this issue of numbers may actually be a recipe for chaos if it is not checked. And just going back to what Matsanga is saying, or Dr. Matsanga is saying, I would actually beg to differ greatly with him, noting that, remember, this tabulation that is going on by the different media houses does not reflect the final outcome that is there. This and those media houses have said these are provisional results. What does provisional results mean? It might turn out to be as it is or not. Remember, all the Forms 34A are being uploaded into the portal. The media houses or any Kenyan has the ability to download these Forms 34A and tabulate their own results. There are 46,000 of them. What is happening with the two different media houses is that one, they are not choosing from the same. One of them might choose to take from County A, the other one from County B, and that is why these results are as different as they come at this hour.
Well, I think that's clear enough. David Matsanga, the peaceful nature of this election is one that we must, stay on. And you've highlighted that much. What can you tell us at the moment? Because the peace needs to be taken beyond the results. So how can that be maintained?
First of all, thank you very much. Before I come to peace, I want to come together with Murithi. I like him so much because he's a very good analyst in Kenya here. One of the level-headed minds that Kenya has. Please, I did not say I don't like people to do what they are supposed to do. But you can yourself see the confusion. Some supporters are telling others, don't look at NTV. It has been bought by Ruto. Others are saying, don't look at Citizen. It has been taken over by Raila Amolo Odinga. Where do we, in that? And Murithi has now just accepted himself. Is a recipe for this disaster. It is a disaster. So I was against, and I told the media council, I told Dr. Omonyo that this is going to be messy. You cannot allow a media to go and pick the results. So one of the media, Sulaiman, is picking on the results of Ruto, upgrading Ruto. You see? And while the other one is doing its, even Wafula Chebukati, the chairman of IEBC, has just come out and said they have uploaded all the Form 34A. They are in their portal. But the media were late. They are now very far behind. And the only television now that seems to be catching up with Media House, with IEBC portal, is not being, recognized by the other side. And while NTV, where Murithi, I believe where he is, and I don't want to say where he works, Murithi is, you can see the confusion in Murithi. The confusion in NTV, people are bombarding NTV now. They have said, block it, even close it. They have called the owner of NTV in India, wherever he is, close it. It is bringing the violence in Kenya. Because someone there, Murithi, talk like an African. There are editors there who were working with Itumbi before. And those editors are there. They have gone in there. They are managing the IT. We know them. And they are going to be smoked out any minute now. Because
for one, you're talking about the peace to be maintained, and again, when you use words like, and I see Murithi is smiling there because Murithi understands. Now, if you're taking this to the media and you're saying there are some that you have fingered and they will be smoked out, these are weighty, terms to describe how you feel. And they also can actually incite the public against the media, and that will snowball into something that you wouldn't want to see.
No, we have behaved so well as the media. Murithi will tell you, we have behaved. I'm a media. You saw me with my uniform. I have my badge. We have behaved so well. But there are some of our friends who are misbehaving, who are doing things we don't know for their personal gain. For example, this is going to cause a very big problem. This is going to cause a very big problem, and we better check it. I might have used the word smoking out, but I'm telling you the matter has reached the eyes of the DCI, of the director of the security agencies. It won't be long before they get somebody who is publishing the results publicly in the social media. All right. It is going to happen. It is going to happen.
Quickly, Kennedy, help us make sense of this. We're still awaiting the results. It was just yesterday. Some of you who were with us here did say Africa should expect, a result from IEBC maybe on a Thursday. So, are you thinking that this may also see us having a rerun because it's still looking very close?
Let me first of all say this. According to the law, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has 7 days after voting closes. That takes it to Monday, the 15th of August, for them to have declared who the winner of the presidential election is. As it stands right now, the law allows anybody to tabulate their own laws, put out the information, but they are not allowed to declare who is winner. That is what these media houses are doing. When these Forms 34A are uploaded into the IEBC portal, there is no law or there is no authority that tells me that as a media house, I'm supposed to start with County 001, which is Mombasa, and move all the way to County 047, which is Nairobi, in tabulating my results. The one that has been uploaded is what I will take as a media house and tabulate and put on air. And that is why there is this discrepancy that Dr. Matsanga is talking about. There is no connivance with some of the officials from the political parties, as he is alleging. There's a probability that at the end of the day, the results will be the same. If they are not the same, then that's where the trouble starts. Both media houses have come out to say that we are tabulating. We are not following any laid down procedure. We are picking the numbers randomly. In the event that they do not tally at the end of the day, then there's a problem. And that is where we stand. On the question of peace, this question of different media houses tabulating their own results may cause trouble at the end of the day. That one is agreeable. However, the laid down procedures that are there may save the day.
And Dr. Matsanga, you know, how can post-election violence be averted? Because it's very instructive. We'll start talking to the people, addressing the minds of the average Kenyan.
First of all, Murithi is correct that nobody can. I am Murithi. I am with you. I'm a journalist. I'm one of you. But the trouble that I wanted to save you, Murithi, and others, is this trouble. Is this trouble of explaining to the world. We should have just done our reporting quietly without publicizing it. We should have done our tallying quietly, like we have been doing it before, isn't it? Without, you know, now the TVs are everywhere. Every television has got its own figures. And that is a recipe for disaster. And it is going, you have hit the nail on the head. It is going to bring confusion. The man who saw NTV with 6 million and then he sees citizen with 80 million is not going to keep quiet. He would say, no, something has gone wrong. So my position to the Media Council was very clear, like my position on segmenting the two sets of candidates, where Murithi yourself, you were part of it, where you saw you are interviewing the same candidates going for the same slot in 2 ways. That was where we went wrong. So let's learn some of the mistakes. We used to be the media that does prevent, protect the public, the civilians, the fourth estate. We are the fourth center of democracy. There are 3 types of democracy: the judiciary, the government, the president, and the parliament. We are the fourth. Our role is to inform the public truly and factual, not to tell them fabricated issues. You cannot, Murithi, with due respect, very few television stations in Kenya can download 46,000 pages and do the mathematics and give you in 5 days. We have a problem there. So we have capacity where, look, even they have given us time to go to the portal of IEBC, but still we are making so many errors. We are displaying these things to the public. So for me, I want to stop a post-election violence. Once the results are announced, there should be no hiccup. Whoever has got a problem goes to court.
Well, let's take a moment. We'll come back. When we come back, we'll talk more about the need for Kenyans to maintain the peace. And of course, I would like Murithi and Matsanga to also speak on the handshake, because this looks like the very first test of the handshake in Kenya. That's when we'll come back. Well, if you just joined us, you're welcome. And of course, we're watching Villa Square Africa, looking at the elections in Kenya. Kenya is East Africa's biggest economy, just to put that out. And of course, one with its most massive potential. Who becomes Kenyan president is of importance to not just the East African community, but to the whole of the continent, and that's why we're having that conversation here. The election has been free and fair, according to various reports, but post-election matters the most. Still with me is David Matsanga and Kennedy Murithi. Kennedy, you know, it's been a tight affair so far, one that would want a lot of people asking, isn't this going to be the very first test of that very important handshake?
He had been left out of the whole of this equation, and thus he mounted a campaign on fashioning the handshake people, that is President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, as dynasties, and that is what he has been able to fashion himself on, even moving ahead to position themselves as people who are out of touch with what Kenyans want. And that is the campaign that he has been running, and has associated itself with the majority of Kenyans who are either unemployed or the works they do not amount to so much of the Kenyan, they do not play out or meet the social status of Kenya. So his campaigns have actually associated themselves with the people in the low cadre of Kenyans. And that is why he has been able to turn around a movement and even have the symbol of a wheelbarrow. Yes, it is the biggest test for the Handshake brothers. And if indeed he wins this election, then it will be a win against so many other people and other things, including those that he has called the deep state, to mean people who are in power, and you will never see them but control power.
And David, you know, one of the important things here has to do with leadership, and quite frankly, especially in Africa, is from top to bottom. And that is why these political leaders, we have to watch their moves and their words. Because recall, President Kenyatta had said that he would stay by his word and accept the result of the election, irrespective of who wins. How important will that be when finally we have a winner?
As my good friend Murithi knows, I am one of the few people who stood by him and who stood by Ruto and him when they were not liked by anybody in Kenya. I came from Uganda. I'm a Ugandan. I had known what ICC was. I know his mind. He is not a man who is hungry for power. He's not going to stick around and refuse to hand over. Two, the Constitution of Republic of Kenya is very clear. Kenya has developed a notion of moving forward and changing governments, changing peacefully and handing over power peacefully. So the question of handing over, President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to do that. Whoever comes in, of which by tomorrow or Friday morning, believe me or not, Sulaiman, you will call me back here and we shall be discussing who the winner is. That is not a problem at all. But when you come to this question of bottom up, you are yourself an educated man with several master's degrees. And I don't think you have ever heard of a bottom-up policy hinged to where Max Weber. Where? Where is it? In a communist state? Murithi, my brother, what? Why are you confused? Why are you Kenyans confused? Where are you going to get this money? This is like a Captain Lugard coming to buy our copper in Uganda and the fish and our gold mines, everything, diamond, timber. He said, register the company in the stock exchange in London. Kenya was registered as a company in London, the East African Trading Company. That manifesto of Ruto is dangerous because he doesn't have the money. Where will you get the money to fund all these projects? You need money, capital injected in by capitalists, those people who have capital themselves. Two, I want to tell Murithi that William Samoei Ruto has been in power and he cannot say he's associated with the lower people. No, no, Murithi. Tell the world, you are my brother here. William Ruto entered the parliament in 1992 or 94 or thereabout after slapping another guy who was running in that constituency. He slapped him and he threatened him. He won the seat. He became
well, you know, the campaigns that are over, and the ballots are being counted at the moment. So, Dr. Matsanga, I'll put this to you, both of you, but I want to start with you before I come to Kennedy. What should Kenyans be looking forward to from either of the candidates, either of the leading candidates, until that election result is out? What should Kenyans be looking up to?
The economy. The people want services. The people want continuation. Not one of the problems that Africa has. Murithi, you are studying, you are a very senior person. I like the way you are putting a lot of effort to change Africa, is to continue with the work of the former president. One of the problems we have in Africa, that once a president comes in power, he quickly closes all the things that the former president was doing. And we lose our money. Taxpayers lose money. Why don't you pick the good things that are good in your policy? Continue with them. Continue with infrastructure. Continue with food security. Continue with housing. Continue with manufacturing. These are the pillars that can bring Kenya out of the quagmire that it faces. Kenya faces the quagmire because of the corruption. So everybody in Kenya would like to see the coming in president to take out corruption and go and bury it in the cemetery permanently and put there 1 million bags of cement and concrete so that it doesn't resurrect anywhere near any Kenyan at all. The second point is clean the economy, have jobs for people like the younger generation of Murithi, have good education system, have good, but when you tell people about wheelbarrows, and you are maintaining that the wheelbarrow, you must look a symbol. A man who gives you a symbol of a wheelbarrow when there is a motorbike, when there is a car, when there is a laptop, it demand retards your mind. So some of these policies that my friend Dr. William Samoei Ruto, whom I saved from ICC jail, you should be handling, not to talk about some of these things. They don't help him at all. The Kenyans don't eat wheelbarrows. Kenyans want practical example. For example, how are you going to give people money who cannot afford one meal? That's why you see a social welfare system hinged on Max Weber theory, Adam Smith. That is the theory you can use, that if you seal corruption, there will be money, and therefore you can give Murithi some money if he has lost employment. Thank you.
Well, let me bring in Murithi here. Murithi, and quickly here, either way, what's paramount in the minds of an average Kenyan looking forward to an administration beyond Kenyatta?
Well, one of the things that I will agree with Dr. Matsanga is the fact that Kenyans want money in their pocket. And this is one of the most important election campaign promises that have been made by both sides. We have just come out of a very serious pandemic, and that is the coronavirus pandemic, that has actually cost so many Africans jobs, and others have actually been left jobless. So there is that promise that both camps are giving to create job opportunities for Kenyans here. And also there is the sloganeering that is giving hope to Kenyans. Remember, any politician worth their salt, if they do not promise hope, then they are as good as done. So both camps have been promising that hope. William Samoei Ruto has gone ahead to say that he will be creating about 1 million or 3 million jobs per year. This is a promise that he made in 2013 and in 2017, but was never met. However, on this other side, Raila Odinga has identified, to start with, about 2 million families across the country that are most vulnerable, that will be receiving 6,000 shillings monthly as a stipend to help them get at least the basic needs. So there is that. However, and this is more important, is that none of these two groups says that President Uhuru Kenyatta has not worked. In fact, Deputy President William Ruto, in taking his presidency, has said that President Uhuru Kenyatta has worked, and he wants to pick up on what he did not do as he moves forward to better that. Raila Odinga, on his part, even in his movement of Mount Kenya, he has said that he will pick up from where President...
Well, we lost the connection to Kennedy Murithi there, so I come back to you, David Matsanga. Quickly here, love him or hate him, somehow, let's talk about Ruto's standing in this particular election. So far, going by the figures, neck to neck. But for a man who's not getting the support of the president, shouldn't we say Ruto has done well?
I don't think so. There is one thing that has happened here which is very sad. And I wish Murithi comes back and we talk about it. The thing that has happened in Kenya at the moment is voter apathy. Out of 22 million voters, 14 million voters so far now, and up. And you can see 8 million voters, 8 million point something voters just sat at home. They sat at home. Not because there were no ballot papers, not because there were no facilities, no cars to take them to the voting stations, no. This is a sad story. A sad story, especially in a mountain where Murithi comes from. The percentage did not come up to 53. It is just about 52% of the total number of voters, which you can translate from 6 million voters. That means 3 million voters in Mount Kenya did not turn up. That is very sad, and very sad indeed. And I think you will have to create time for us after this, and we talk about voter apathy, which is linked to bad policies and bad campaigning propaganda, which comes out, which does not convince people to go to voting. And that is why should the country waste to print 62 million ballot papers and waste almost 4 billion shillings, 4 billion shillings in an election in printing of ballot papers? We could have used it for different things. We could have used it for something different, which would have helped the people of Kenya. Now you see the ballot papers have been wasted, and 80 million people disappeared. On the question of Ruto, when you tell me love him or do this or hate, what can you love about Ruto? Sure, he has not come back and told the Kenyans why allegedly everything which is wrong is done, is attributed to him.
No, no, no. I'm not talking about the man now. I specifically said, good thing, Kennedy's back. Matsanga was hoping that you come back as well. Thanks for staying on. I asked Matsanga, and I'm going to put the same question to you. Specifically, I asked Matsanga, I asked, irrespective of what people think of Ruto, not getting the support of the president, talking about the incumbency factor, shouldn't, a discerning observer say Ruto has done well in this election?
Well, that one you cannot put away. By the mere fact that he has gotten the far he has, by the fact that he is a serious contender for the presidency of this country, by the fact that even as the results started streaming in from yesterday, he has not fallen off and is still he's still being considered as a serious presidential candidate as of now, then I do not think that that is a man that you would want to wish away. Whether he wins this presidential election or not, he will have come out probably unscathed in the matter that even as we speak right now, he is controlling a majority of the parliamentary seats through his political party, the UDA. Whether he gets the presidency or not, he will issue a statement and say that I have gotten here by the powers of God. Now, this is not a man that you would want to wish away. In fact, he will be reigning supreme like a colossus in this country, even if he plays the role of an opposition leader. So as we speak about this matter of William Ruto, whether he wins the presidency or not, then he still comes out as a formidable force that would actually go ahead and disturb this government if indeed Raila Odinga gets the presidency. However, on this question, on Saturday when we covered, and I did cover Raila Odinga on his last rally at the Kasarani Stadium on Saturday, he said that whichever way this election goes, he is ready to shake the hands of his opponents. What does this basically mean? He started this story by going as far as 2002 when he shook hands with President Daniel Moi. In 2008, he shook hands with Daniel Mwai Kibaki, with President Mwai Kibaki. In 2018, he shook hands with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila Odinga says he is not ashamed of shaking hands with his opponent, whether he wins or does not win this election. So basically, William Ruto will have shown that he has gotten to a point that he has never gotten before. And my cue, this is his first shot at the presidency this time round.
And still with you, Kennedy, should Odinga lose, do you think it will be his last attempt at the Kenyan presidency?
Yes, I do believe that this will be his last attempt, and different from any other messaging that he has put out in any other electioneering period. On Sunday, when he met religious leaders at the Kenya International Conference Center, where I was, and I got an opportunity to interview him one-on-one, Raila Odinga told me that in this particular election, he is ready to congratulate the winner if it is not him. And if indeed he is going to win this election, he will still call his opponents to the table and say that we have run a worthy cause. Remember, it is more than 24 hours since the polls closed here in Kenya, but people are still going around their businesses as normal. So basically, even if this election does not go either way of the two wanted, what we are enjoying as Kenyans right now is the peace. And that is what most people are preaching should be upheld. Remember also the schools will be opening soon, and also people have been asked to go back to their businesses. So even if they do proceed with this, Kenyans are ready to go back to their businesses and proceed with what they do on a daily basis, as there is not so much money in circulation at this time in the country.
And David Matsanga, listening to Kennedy, it looks like we have two statesmen, going neck to neck, going by their words. That's statesmanly for both candidates.
On the question of Ruto making a name, he made a name through pseudo politics, Machiavellian politics. Would you cry? And the Emperor Julius Caesar told the Roman Empire that when I die. It is not I, Julius Caesar, who will suffer, but the Roman Empire will suffer. He told Brutus, Ruto is a Brutus in as far as we Jubilee members are concerned. Maybe Mr. Jubilee follower. I'm a great friend of Jubilee, a great friend of both Ruto at that time with Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember, the only man who stood out for them when even Murithi could not write an article to defend them is me. And some other people followed me later. Let me tell you, he was a great guy. He had already come out. He had lived as a parasite on Moi.
Well, anyway, I think we have to go now because I see now you're a Jubilee man. You're on the other side, so it's evident that no matter what the readings are for the man, William Ruto. The difference now, David Matsanga, you said something about Kennedy. I need to make this clear. He's a journalist. He's not writing in support for anyone. Editorials are not reaching to support anyone. And you've also said that Kennedy is one of Kenyans and Africa's best. So I'm on this for Kennedy, and I say, well, many thanks for being such nice company, gentlemen. It's been a day here on the square. We do hope that we'll stay on this. And of course, definitely we'll be talking more on voter apathy with you, David Matsanga and Kennedy Murithi, as we await the election results. For those watching across the continent, you can catch up with News Central Television on its website, newscentral.africa. I'm Sulaiman, and up next will be the news, and here for you.